Let's switch our capture to another capture. Does this look better? I'm trying to hover over A1 right now. It still looks wrong. It's not how we wanted it to be. That's weird. What if we try switching so that I'm just capturing the whole monitor instead? One sec, guys. We're trying to figure out why our cursor is weird. But if the cursor is weird, then the cursor's just weird, right? We'll just talk about the hex names. Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about hex names. It's okay. I can be a big boy and talk about hex names. Okay. So, George Shortwell is on witches and trying to choose. So George Shortwell did start on F5 like we thought. So he is on F5, which I think was a good idea. And went for temp shipping. So this is definitely not what we expected here. I really did not expect this temp ship tile to get taken. This passes a lot of value up the table to nomads and alchemists. Nomads were thinking that they were getting the big building tile, but now they're realizing that alchemists are getting the big building tile. This is a huge coup. I think alchemists are winning this game. That's my hot take prediction. Hephaestus is a very strong player. Hephaestus was going to get like a much weaker tile than this. However, he's in like good position to open stronghold, dig down a landscape with a single dig, advance his shipping, get I8, buy a like 5 power priest to advance ship, and then next round land on the ship VP tile. So I really like this positioning here for alchemists. Dwarves, I think, are probably still best off just taking the line that I suggested, which was just go for this. Well, I mean, so another line that they can do is they can go for the TP tile and then just like tunnel once. Or they could even go for this and single dig, though I'm not sure that single digging F3 is really worth it here. It could be, though. Patrick of the Isles, astronaut meme, they were always winning. Yeah, I mean, they were like, I think that Alchemist in this auction a little bit, but that said, I'm not very good with act. I'm some genius for like pointing that out. I wouldn't have won in the same shot. But yeah, my cursor's about too low for that. I was aware of that for dwarves, but I was not aware of that for alchemists. Opening the landscape do need to be opening the stronghold need to be concerned. Temple need to be concerned. To Earth 1. Then next round they could buy a priest shipping and build at least. Well, I guess they would only. Obviously, super strong for alchemists on this map. Just look around the bend at E10, A10, C5, and okay. So dwarves did go for this, but they did not buy a priest with their first action. They simply. So we're gonna see how dwarves wind up going here. Alchemists are going to upgrade, so it's a giant party. So it doesn't look like dwarves are competing. Dig, in pole position, they can take if they want. witches have 2 natural hexes that they can build on. To build a temple and 2 the dwelling round is next round, so I'm not convinced that you actually want to as witches. Now you certainly could double dig. It's never wrong to take double dig in round 1. It's never that wrong to take double dig in round 1. However, this might be a game where it's just not quite as good as it might be otherwise. It's obviously a tiny bit risky because dwarves could take f6 from you, but I mean that seems like a fairly low risk. So witches are securing their connection with a move that they didn't expect. I don't think that they particularly expected to get this double dig. I'm also not sure that they want a temple that badly here, because once again, they still face the same issue as before of actually getting from this temple. Like, you get a spade, right? So sorry, you obviously get a spade from it. It's there too. But again, where does that spade go? It's not that needed that. If you build, if it's a dwelling rush, this hex, or if it's, okay, so if it's f2, you could leave f6 unbuilt. Build spade might go on f9. Is going for double temple. And no, dwarves, what are dwarves second action? They spent power to get 2 workers. Could it be double temple dwarves as well? I don't like that in particular. I think, well, actually up to, but I don't particularly like taking the there. Big building tile. I think nomads, like, they got thrown out of temp ship. They originally were bidding on a big building tile, but then they were like, oh, I have the spade. I think you can give up the spade. The end of the world to give up the spade as nomads. And their original game plan, I'm almost just going to undo this. This has to. I really hope that Hugh Kim has, because Hugh Kim doesn't play a lot on board game. I don't want to like type any. Oh. Hugh Kim doesn't play a lot on Board Game Arena, so it's possible that he doesn't have his undo settings correct. So before he declines to build this dwelling, he needs to make sure that they've got that lets them always be prompted for undos. We don't want this game to get ruined because hard dug in round 1 when they meant to use their spade. Patrick, only hard digs in the MSO finals. Well, I mean, in round 2 of the MSO, engineer dig a green hex with a single dig action. He accidentally dug a blue hex, 3 workers, and then they didn't have the undo feature enabled. So yeah, that did happen. In any case, I'm not gonna interfere anymore here, but I do think that this wasn't like. I really do hope that nomads manage to figure this out. Here I'm obviously hoping that we're obviously hoping that no one kicks Hugh Kim here. No one wants to see this happen due to a mistake. Okay, so it says Hukin may do conversions. Great. The undo happens. Here comes the bonus spade. So I think that we're good to go. We should be good to go. Yep, there it is. Phew. But Hukim should hurry up. So Hukim doesn't build. This suggests that they're either trying to lengthen their round or they're trying to go for greed out 2 points on Earth 1. Both can be true, but I imagine that only one of those is their primary goal here. And witches are just getting some monster leech. This is absolutely beautiful over here. Dwarves rush Earth 1 after grabbing 2 workers. Now, charitably, I think that they could be going for double temple to grab Earth 2 as well. But now you gotta wonder, what is this cult bump doing for them? It could just be a step, which could be like the point for dwarves. Uncharitably, I think that it's just not great. Nomads managed to get the priest. That's pretty neat. George Shortwell is probably templing for air too, I would think. And I just still think that that's probably what they're going for, but who knows? Responsibly secures f6 because dwarves indeed have enough power to take the single dig and tunnel to f6. That could have been one of dwarves' plans, but obviously that wasn't allowed to happen here. Building f6 is also good for witches because it gives them more leech. Hilariously, once Alchemist's Temple here and once Nomad's Temple here, they're going to have 6 power and bull whatever again. So that's one of the great benefits of taking the double spade. The amount of extra leech that you can get is incredible. So now that I'm thinking about it, this probably was George Shortwell's plan. In order to give up the spade, you need like a very, very compelling reason. And locking up your connection and getting like just a monster amount of leech. You also take away this hex that all your opponents want, or like 2 of your opponents want this hex. One of your opponents wants f6. It's very, very strong. So I do like this quite a lot for witches. Nomads, I wonder if they're looking at something goofy like air 2 nomads with a priest to air. I don't think that it's... Okay. Man, I don't know what's going on in this game. Terramis is great. I don't know what's going on. You get handed the spade and then you pass up the big building tile. Bruh. Are you gonna cut off Alchemist too? Nomads could cut off Alchemist here, though I'm not convinced that that's very good for them, but they definitely could. George Shortwell does indeed get the coins, like I said that he might. He can now, again, he can still temple, or he can go G9, D2. Obviously, the upside to templing is that you can get priest production going, and then you can advance your shipping in the next round. And then next round, you get points for building those. Priest production is also just generically good. On the other hand, worker production is very good, and also securing hexes is good. However, I just don't see a ton of pressure on D2 or G9, unless nomads go E6 like right away here with their sandstorm. Dwarves are having themselves a think. The single spade is still there. This could be a pretty decent opening for Dwarves if they take a single spade on f3 and then tunnel to c6 or d1. That would also still enable them to be very, very much still in the running for connection. They just tunnel first, which I think is a good move because I think that Dwarves didn't particularly want to potentially lose d5. I mean, Earth 1 in the end is probably fine, though, like, aesthetically speaking, I definitely prefer Earth 2 for Dwarves, especially because they're, like, a good tunneling faction. Like, Dwarves want to tunnel. Alchemists should be opening next round, likely with the Priest power action, followed by the Workers power action. If Alchemists are able to go Priest power action into the Worker power action, then they should be able to build 4 dwellings next round. That's E10, A10, A8, A6, and C5. Or that wasn't in order. C5 would come first, and then A6. But that would be very good. And I don't think it's particularly going to be disrupted. Like, Nomads would have to do something weird in order to interfere with that build plan, but I don't see why Nomads would. That said, I think that Nomads have plenty of issues right now due to how they've played this. They're not putting any particular priority on the big building tile. Meanwhile, Witches have indeed decided to forego the Cult Spade. I don't think that's a bad idea. Dwarves just pass for the big building tile, which is fine. It looks like they might get double dig next round, so that's all fine. Yeah, it seems like fine for Dwarves. Again, I don't like Earth 1, but it seems pretty much fine here. Nomads are likely targeting the 4 coins and a cult step so that they can get the cult bonus. They put the first priest to water, so they only need 1 more step to reach step 4, and then they can get a priest out of it. In which case, this 4 coins and a cult step award must be like pretty appealing. On the other hand, like, just getting 7 coins is also never bad. So, Nomads need to use their Sandstorm. Again, I think that the most obvious spot to use it is D4. But they just box in Alchemist at G6, which, I mean, that is a move that you can take, but I don't think that Alchemists were looking to double dig here. I think that Alchemists were getting cut off regardless. Now, I guess the good thing about this is that this is not just anti-Alchemist, right? This is actually good for you as well, like, in some way, because this is connection. I'm assuming that E5 and E6 are no one's going to triple dig these guys. Like, green and gray should not triple dig E6, and Alchemist can't reach it. So this is like a pretty good way to lock up your connection. And I suppose that Dwarves aren't going to come after D4 just yet. But now I think that it's time for Nomads to pass, and I do think that they should probably pass for the cult step, though I'm not sure how much better that priest is than 3 coins. Surely, like, the priest will pay coins later, but they will also run out. Building 2 dwellings, unless you take the single spade power action or something. I guess you could get double spade. If you think you get double spade, then you probably want the extra 3 coins so that you can build extra. This means that Nomads think that there's a chance they get double spade. And I think that they would be right to say that, because Alchemists certainly don't want double spade here. It would not be good for Alchemists to take double spade, at least currently. I would be taking the priest if I'm Alchemists, followed by the Workers power action, like I said, so you can build E10, A10, C5, A6, possibly I8. they also just want to get 3 ship anyway. Like, not that I think that the priest power action is particularly contested, but apologies for all the excited words. To me, it's a very, very interesting game right now. Um, it's hard to say who's winning. I think that Witches found a very, very cool line, and I also don't think that. I think that Alchemists did well, but they got cut off, so that hurts. And they don't have obvious town spots. I would say that Witches are in the most obviously strong position. Um, yeah, Witches are in the most obviously strong position. However, they don't have any favors yet. They don't have any priest production. Um, and they're going to be digging over here in the east because they got the spade, but it's not clear that the stuff over here achieves a lot for them. Like, it's a lot of digs to make this town over here in the east. Um, it's a triple dig to get taken. Ooh, Physos does go for double dig. I I did not expect that, and I don't know if I love it either. Now H4 is like this is a counter nomads move, and I do kind of like it in the sense that it's like kind of like payback, right? Like nomads took G6. Well, okay, now I'm gonna blow up your town, or like I'm gonna make it so that you don't just get to cruise to your town easily. I think dwarves are very happy about this dig. Now dwarves would have loved double dig themselves. However, this is good for dwarves because they don't need to worry about nomads coming after H3. I think that alchemists are never taking H3. Um, Again, I don't particularly like this for alchemists themselves, though. Um, it's a nice move against nomads, but you're getting a lot fewer dwellings out. And I don't think that you're competing for the town in round 3 anyway. Um, Getting more points off. So it's a dwellings round, right? You're getting 2 dwellings out, and maybe you're advancing ship twice. You could have advanced ship 3 times, so that's 3 more workers, or that's 3 more points off of here, and 4 more points off of here. So you would be 7 points and 2 workers better by going a different line. George Orwell goes for the stronghold, which I think makes a fair amount of sense. We're going to see if he's allowed to fly to F3. I think that would be probably a little too bold for him to fly to F3 because, first of all, dwarves could take F3, but secondly, um, nomads could sandstorm E4, which would be obviously a big problem. So I think that B4 might be a little more likely, and then you just dig B3, and then you're in shipping range here for your next flight. That's what I would. My guess is that the flight is to B4. Yeah, dwarves do protect this hex. Um, if I'm nomads, I am pretty happy to sandstorm E4 here, though probably D4 might be a little better. What do nomads do with their first action? Nomads took 2 workers, so they want to temple? Or are they looking to hard dig? Because nomads could sandstorm D4, hard dig C7, build C8. No, they are going for Earth 1. Okay. They also incredibly have yet to take the coins. I think I've changed my mind. I think witches are flying a C2, digging B1 and taking A1. They don't think that they're going to lose. I wouldn't expect to lose B4 here. Oh, so what did you guys say? Witches can try the stronghold. Yep, Mr. Fickles, you are absolutely right. You completely saw that. And as you pointed out, I think witches are actually going to fly up here to the northwest. Witches are not going to fly to B4. They're not going to do a safe route because they don't need to worry about B4 yet. They can just fly to C2 and do cool stuff up there. If Physos takes the coins, guys, am I missing something? Is this a good alchemist line and I'm just like too dumb to see it, or was it just better for alchemists, as I think, to buy the priest and buy the workers and just come all the way over here? Like this is looking suspiciously like a taller alchemist game plan, and I don't know if I'm for that. Now, alchemists could try to escape over here through the west. Um, if dwarves, for example, if dwarves get e4, right? If nomads give dwarves e4, then alchemists, then dwarves might not be interested in h3, and there's a chance that alchemists can come all the way around the bend and try to connect through the north. Um, I don't find that particularly likely, but you can't deny that that's a possibility. If dwarves aren't like just don't care or aren't paying attention. By the way, I don't like this tunnel at all for dwarves. I really prefer D1 for dwarves on that tunnel. Um, that might get more leech from E4, and like Nomad Sandstorming E4 means that they also get tempo and Sandstorming D1. I guess, yeah, because they already had C6, right? So why A7? Like you don't really need A7. Maybe they're going to go 3 power to a worker and take D1 anyway. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think I would kind of like that. Sorry, I know that my cursor once again does not reflect where I'm like the words that I'm saying. Now, witches do conservatively fly to b4. Um, Here's my argument for b4. Um, Witches already have 6 dwellings on the board. It is true that if they fly to c2, then they can get down to um, all of their dwellings on the board. They because one spade, which they have in hand, gets them 2 spots. However, that probably isn't like getting all your dwellings on the board is not necessarily a good thing because the last dwelling doesn't produce income. So even though it's a dwellings round, this might be better. Um, we're going to see what happens here because this b4 also cuts off dwarves. Dwarves were hoping to connect through the north, and indeed they take a5. They do 3 power to a worker, but now they would need the c4 hex to connect, which is a triple dig. I am here assuming that witches are taking away b3, which would be a double dig for dwarves to connect. We'll see if it does go down that way. Also, dwarves are at 65 points. That's the power of Earth 1. Patrick, do you think that it's hard not to like the witches opening, but the dwarves have a fair points buffer and should do well on cult points? I agree. Like, I personally don't love Earth 1 for dwarves that much, but it's hard to argue with the fact that they have gotten 8 points out of it already. And they're likely to get like a bunch more. Their worker production is good. The only issue is their coin economy right now. But as you pointed out, they could be okay. I really like if dwarves pass on to this cult step tile right now. They're not getting a town in this coming round. They just don't have any way to get those digs that they need. Nomads ensure that the only way for alchemists to connect now is to go through the west. And once again, I just don't like this. I don't like this double spade from alchemists. Like, I really think that they had something great going, and they, in my opinion, they kind of fumbled it. I don't know if I'm correct. I could be wrong. And this could be entirely correct from alchemists to take this double dig. But now they have 4 workers going to next round instead of 6. And they also took this coins action, which I don't think did them anything. So, like, they've advanced their... Well, okay, fine. They could go 3 power to a worker here and build I8. That would make me like their game a little more. But I really do think that going a more shipping heavy line was better. They turned their priest into a worker, which I also find... I just don't like that. I just really don't like this from alchemists. You're not taking advantage of your ship tile. Take advantage of your ship tile. It's so many points. It's just so many points, that ship tile. I mean, better than I am, so like I don't need to dissect his every move this badly, but ugh. Anyway, dwarves do manage to land on the tile. This is very good for them. Wow. Hold on. Nomads are in trouble. No, nomads aren't in trouble because they're passing here. I think that nomads should pass here because otherwise alchemists will block their big building tile. Um, I think nomads should, like, I know that they're eyeing e5, right? But if they pass, like, e5 is good. It's a worker production and it's 2 points. So I guess my thought is that they can pass right now tile. However, I suppose that they're likely to pass onto the TP tile if they don't get the big building tile, and that's quite good as well. So maybe I don't need to worry about it. Rainier, you agree that alchemists have, yeah, it's weird that they turn down shippings and dwellings. Yeah, because like they had like they had enough stuff to go for this workers power action too. That's like, and also trying to go for this town, I don't like going for this town because now you're tying up your dwellings and kicking yourself out of the network race. As alchemists on Fjords, you can definitely abandon one structure and still get down to just like one thing on your board, right? Alchemists could easily get down to like the sanctuary or the TP or a temple on their board on Fjords. Um, and sure, they missed out on G5, but like, fine, you missed out on G5. Like, it's not the end of the world. Now they're putting themselves at mercy. Like, I'm almost certain that nomads are sandstorming I3 next round. Like, nomads want this round 3 town. They're going to sandstorm I3 if they're given the chance. Maybe they want to take, like, sure, they'll take the coins power action first. But is Hephaestus ready to commit like a 3 powered, a 3 worker dig on I3? I just don't think that this H4 hex does anything for you. Um, Patrick, you like the Nomad Stronghold opening more than some people, but not sure why Nomads prioritize sandstorming the south instead of the center, which would get them more natural yellows. Yes, I totally agree with that too. Um, I totally agree with that. Like they could have gone. You're talking about like they could have gone here, right? Like this the round 2 10 that they could have gone for was the one through C8, the one that like just annihilates this entire center, and then dwarves are forced to build around you if they want another town, giving you lots of leech here, and you have like this beautiful like 5 hex town for nomads. It was a dwelling round. You could have had Act 5 to help yourself. Like it was all very very good looking. But instead, they chose to go to war with alchemists here, and I'm just not convinced. Um, you agree with the witches line, you agree with the dwarves line, even if it chumped, and or I mean, you basically agree with dwarves and nomads and alchemists have done weird things. Yeah, I agree with all that. So I mean, Patrick, to be clear, I don't have an issue with nomads opening stronghold. My big issue is that nomads took the spade and opened stronghold. They could have taken the stronghold tile, and here's what their spade has done them. This E5 hex was spaded in round 1, and after round 2, which was a dwellings round, it is still not built. That to me suggests that something went very wrong with this Nomads game plan, and it probably all began by taking that spade instead of the like if I'm George Shortwell, I'm so pleased that I basically Jedi mind tricked. Like George Shortwell essentially Jedi mind tricked the nomads into this. Also, I mean, are you guys seeing this? Hephaestus is on the temp ship tile. I have to assume that that's for a spade power action because he has 2 priests in hand. Um, he could have gone to 3 shipping this round. Why is he getting? And he had like points incentive to do that. Like he had double points incentives to get 3 shipping this round, but he didn't. And now he's on temp ship. So I just don't get it. Lustrous. Alchemist can take single dig here and still get a 3 ship and finish round 3 with 2 temples and all their dwellings on the board. That is true. However, they could have ended round 2 with 2 temples and 4 dwellings on their board, maybe 5. They would like, yes, it's not the end of the world, but like they could have had just a lot more points in doing so. and better economy this round. So like that's my big issue with Alchemist game. And also like these Alchemist structures are a lot less likely to connect. Okay, you think this is a higher ceiling line for Hephaestus? Yes, this may be higher ceiling. It may be higher ceiling because you're getting an extra town this way, right? You're possibly getting an extra town this way if you take the single dig first action on I3. And that is indeed what Hephaestus does. I mean, we'll see. This could be like a mad genius move. It's not clear that c4 is getting taken. It's also not clear that e4 is getting taken. So if both e4 and c4 hang out this game, then Alchemist should connect. I mean, that said, I think that Nomads might want to bridge town through c4, but they might not be able to do that fast enough before Alchemists get to work on them. Alchemist can also go to 2-ship and take away e6 this round. So like Nomads going for this southern game plan has really, really slowed them down. So I do think Dwarves and Witches look good here in conclusion. Lox, it's the first time that you've seen Sora 13 and Hukim. Does anyone know them? Sora 13, I am not familiar with. Hukim, I definitely recognize their username. They're kind of like a Snellman legend, but they probably just haven't played very much on BGA. Like, I think they only have 13 games of Terra Mystica. Yeah, they've only got 13 games of Terra Mystica, but they're obviously very strong. They played a long time in TM Tour. Anyway, yeah, like it is possible that Hephaestus is an evil genius here. In order for in order for them not to connect, dwarves need h3 and witches need i2. Yeah, like nomads are not getting a town here. Their game has, in my opinion, just been like a slow decay. In my opinion, like you could best describe this Nomads game as like a slow decay throughout. What town do you like here for Witches, guys? I think that the 2-key town is just never that wrong, and I'm pretty down with it here. Priest is also pretty good. Coin town is not bad either. Witches will need lots and lots of coins, and they're on the TP tile, so they could build like b4, f8 this round to get some coin income going. I wonder if dwarves will prioritize c4. I mean, I guess they can't prioritize c4 because they have no economy right now. Yeah, certainly either Alchemists or Nomads would beat them to c4 by the time that they found the economy to do that. Yeah, so Nomads managed to get themselves connection, but they also gave up their, like they hard dug e6 and they gave up their town this round because of it, and it's just very sad all around for me. Coin town or the 2-key, you would take the 2-key town because Stronghold, Nomads, and Alchemists are in it. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And we can see that Professor Shortwell is delaying his decision. I think he's torn between the coin town and the 2-key as well, and that's why he hasn't decided just yet. Like right now he has the luxury because everyone else has just been like, Nomads and Alchemists have just been like repeatedly punching each other in the face. And by the way, I just noticed Alchemists could 4-ship to c4 this round. If Alchemists 4-ship to c4, then they are very likely to connect if dwarves don't take away h3 and witches don't fly to i2, right? If you get c4, then like it's very, very expensive, but they can connect for sure. Again, I mean, I just don't love the decisions they've made, but they're at 53 points and they have Earth 1 and they're Alchemists and they have 2 priest production. They're going to have all their dwellings out. Like it's still not the end of the world for Team Alchemists. I wonder if it's good for George Shortwell to go for the Tukey town, buy a priest, and send the priest to the Earth track. That would get him the Earth Spade, but I guess he could fly to C2 this round and then Spade B1. It's a little rough on the coin economy to buy a priest here, especially if he wants his stronghold or his sanctuary next round, which I'm not convinced he does. I'm not convinced that he wants to try to force out this sanctuary, to be fair. It does look like a long round is incoming. It also Alchemist did give away C4, so yeah, they are just doing what they were supposed to be doing last round, which saddens me quite a bit. It just does. If they really wanted a coins action, they could have just passed on to the 7 coins later, right? Like they were offered 7 coins here. Nomads were on that tile last round, and they passed on here. Hephaestus was passed afterward onto temp ship instead of just 6 points. And Witches chose the TP tile over the 6 points, 6 coins, this is pretty interesting. I know that a lot of strong players would rather. Okay, so George Shortwell is templing for Water 1 first. So this is a clear sign that he's going for a coin town. I don't think that you can justify taking the Tukey town and having no coin economy if you're going for Water 1 here. I'm also curious to see if George Shortwell goes for converting some workers into coins. My reasoning being that I don't think that he needs double spade anymore. However, I do think that he wants to put himself into as good position for a coins power action as he can. So doing some workers to coins and saving some of your power for a coins action might be worth it. I like this dig from Nomads. Like, I mean, I don't like Nomad's game, but I do think that this is correct because this still keeps the pressure on Alchemists if they want to connect. Dwarves Town now involves taking H3, and Dwarves are going to prioritize this town. I don't think that there's any world where Dwarves don't want this town. Which means that Alchemists are forced onto I2, but Dwarves could try to race them to I2, and Witches could also fly to I2. We're going to see how this goes. I mean, Alchemists, even with 3 structures gone, are still going to beat Dwarves, right? Dwarves are just not connecting at all. Not to mention their economy doesn't look very good. They only have Earth 1. They have 1,000,000 points, but they only have Earth 1, and they're not getting onto another pass tile. Their game is slowing down a little bit. They do have good cult points, though. Witches do fly to C2 as we expected, so they will need 3 ship this game as long if they don't. Yeah, they'll need 3 ship this game. They would need to. I guess there's a world where they could spade this hex and this hex for 4 more digs. They could go for a 5 dig. Ooh, I like that. I like that if that can happen. Guys, can we get the world where we get digging Witches who then dig B5, C3, B1. So that's 5 more digs this game. However, then they connect on 1 shipping. Digging Witches who only need 1 shipping to connect on Fjords would be a cool line in my book. Oh, Witches got enough leech that they could convert fairly peacefully. Again, I kind of suspect this is a coin town, but I could definitely see it being justified as the 2-key town now, because the 2-key town does give enough power to leech into. Oh, I would be taking this leech every time if I were nomads. I wouldn't even be thinking about this. Um, I mean, admittedly, Hephaestus is going to get a town next round. I think that he's probably going to go Sanctuary Water 1 and then Stronghold next round. That's what I would predict. Meanwhile, witches are taking the coin town. They still are quite far behind in terms of points. And dwarves do have a cult lead on them. So if dwarves can get 2 towns, their sheer pointiness can be very good. I have my doubts though. Um, Nomads probably should just pass. They might be trying to figure out what tile they want. I would imagine that the spade is best. Spade lets them to. I mean, this is really ugly here, isn't it? They if dwarves' first action is to dig d4, then nomads lose a town. They're never getting c4 away from alchemists. I think. Um, yeah, the bridge went, so they can't drop this bridge and like try to get c4 and get this town. So they would be stuck on a 3-hex town in here, and these 3 hexes would just be dead. That would be such a bummer. So I think that they just have to hope that they can get d4 next round, and they might be giving up a coins action to make it happen, which would be very sad. So yeah, I mean, I hated a lot on Hephaestus's game, but right now it doesn't look so bad at all. I would, yeah, if I'm alchemist, I'm just gonna pass onto the big building tile here. Um, it would be it's just a massive coup to get that. In fact, if I'm witches, it's not the end of the world to just pass onto this, right? Like this is an 8-point tile for you. Witches do pass for that tile. Um, oh, but Hephaestus is fine because, yeah, Hephaestus just passes on to the 10-point or the 9-point tile instead. Um, yeah, this looks like it's coming together for alchemists if they can connect. Admittedly, it's a little harder than I thought to connect because they would need to take e3 away from nomads, and I'm not convinced that nomads will let them have that, which means that then they're stuck trying to get c3 from nomads. Um, and this is all keeping in mind that they want one of these 2 hexes from dwarves. Um, they would need to beat dwarves to I2, um, and then still get c3. It's a lot of digs. Um, but I mean, if you're alchemist, you can make a lot of stuff happen. So I wouldn't necessarily put it past Hephaestus to be able to do that. We should also just keep in mind that alchemists started at 40. So just because they seem to be doing well here doesn't mean that they have played ideally. Like, just because alchemists are not appear to have a very good game going on doesn't mean that it's because like he made ideal choices during the course of the game. Um, it could just be that alchemists were severely undervalued, and other players have done the wrong stuff. Um, so dwarves can't double dig here, so we'll see what action they do take. They could just sanctuary for water 1. They take the coins, which That surprises me a little bit. I mean, I don't think it's terrible, but it's also just not what I expected. Also, was I being silly about about this town? No, no, because if D4 went, then yeah, this would be a 3 hex town. Um, I think Nomads should just Sandstorm D4 now. Then there's no reason to be cautious about that. Um, Nomads don't appear to have the coins to build their sanctuary, which is very sad. Um, Nomads can go for the 2 key town, which is not terrible for them. But they also might just want a coin town too. We'll see how they value things. So I think that for the rest of this game, I'm looking at Witch's game. Witches I think are the strongest right now. I'm looking at what they might want for the rest of this game, what might want for this round, and I'm thinking they have so many workers. If I'm Witches, I'm going to Sanctuary for Air One. Air One is a worker, and it's 2 points. Um, then I think I'm hard digging B5. I know it's a double hard dig, but if you don't think you have the coins right now in order to advance your digs, then I probably just double hard dig B5 and build a TP here. So then you end this round with Stronghold or Sanctuary TP dwelling, and then you fly to A1, which is part of your future town dream here. And then next round you temple for fire 2. So you end this game with um, 2 temples on your board, and you have water 1, fire 2, water 1, air 1, fire 2. Um, I believe that's what I would do if I were Witches this game. Now it feels bad to double hard dig 1 hex, but if you're Witches with this many workers and this much worker production, I think that you can justify that. Yeah, I think that you can justify that for Witches. And then, man, I don't even know. Like, I don't know about that. I suppose D4 is safe. There's like very low chance that dwarves spend 7 workers to secure this 1 hex right now, when they can go for a sanctuary for water 1 or air 1 and go for these hexes here. Um, like this is also just a hex that you didn't need if you just would secure D4 earlier. Yeah, witches do take this hex first, which is pretty cool. There's no pressure on air 1, so that makes a lot of sense. They might want to just send their priest to air. It cycles their power, it gets them a worker. It locks up the cult, not that it looks like there's that much pressure on it. Very awkwardly, I don't think that Nomads at all want to Stronghold here. Or a Sanctuary here. They clearly can Sandstorm down, or like just even dig down this hex. Ooh, what's this? Was this a Cult Spade? What did I miss? Spade for the Cult of Earth. So Hephaestus. Well, I think the connection is going to happen. Like Hephaestus has little else to do, and it's round 6 dwelling. So, Mr. Fickles, my 1-ship Witch's dream is still alive. Yes, but one sad part is that it didn't happen through advanced digging. Right? That's the sad part. However, I mean, a round 4 air cult event is basically like advanced digging for Witches, right? Like, or it's like power actions. It's like the equivalent of getting digging power actions. So, yeah, this Nomads game just continues to make me sad. So I won't talk too much about it. I would like to talk more about this Witches game, which is looking phenomenal. George might go for Sanctuary Fire 2 before Air 1, but I think, like, I always like to maximize my Air 1 points, which is possibly a weakness because Air 1 is like, obviously it's the least potent scoring favor. He also likes the my Priest to Air theory, which is that you might as well win your Air cult and get power cycling and get cult rewards off of it. Taking C3, by the way, is very nice as well because it also hurts Alchemist's connection. Alchemists might be thinking about whether they can read this I2 right here. Again, I think that this was a cult dig, right? They're on step 5 of Earth. Yeah. They transformed I2 with a cult dig. There's the double spade. They're going for their connection bid. They still do have enough stuff to go for the stronghold as well. Very cool. I should never have doubted Hephaestus. It's a little sad not to get 2 power for it, but nonetheless, it's still pretty good. Dwarves have got to feel pretty bad right now because dwarves wanted to, like, dwarves might have just lost themselves a town, or they're going to need 3 digs to make their town. This is just kind of what happens with dwarves on this map. It can be very kind of crunchy, isolating. Insert other negative word here. Hukim notably is not like he's very, very experienced at Terra Mystica overall, but has not played a lot on non base map. So that is a notable point. That might be part of why he's struggling here a little bit. I think he recognized in the end that Stronghold Nomads is very strong, but this is obviously not exactly how you want it to go down. I think I would just take 2 key here if I'm Nomads. Don't think about it too hard. 2 key is just very, very strong, like always. Alchemists, if they're really this committed to this plan, by the way, probably need to take E3 this round. Because if I'm Nomads here, I am likely taking a coin or ship town and then getting E3. So what's everyone's prediction to? Oh, am I in a different location? Am I on the run? No, I'm not. I mean, I have different locations. You know, I'm a person of many talents. You know, there's a house that I've been staying at outside, and then there's another place in the city. I'm going to be moving, but there are 2 locations within this house that I stream from currently. So it is the 2 key town, which I thought was good for Nomads. I think that Nomads should probably, if I'm Nomads, I think I'm advancing ship and building E3 here. I spent all this time like cutting off Alchemists. I can cut off Alchemists one more time. Rainier, you like Witches, Dwarves, Alchemists, Nomads? I like Witches to win this game for sure. They've just sanctuaried for Air 1. They're about to pass for 8 points. They're about to pass for 11 points, my bad. They're going to get 3 points off of this. They have multiple towns coming. They're going to... They might beat Alchemists on Network. They're certainly tying for first, if not better on Network. They've won a cult already. I do think that Nomads are likely last. I just don't see that much going for them. But I also see Dwarves running out of gas. Like, Dwarves, they have 0 connection points. That's certain. They might only have 1 town, though I guess they could like Nomads don't seem interested in this hex, for example, right? They could get this. This town or Bridgetown even, right? Yeah, I mean Dwarski got 2 towns, and if they close out their Earth cult, then and they're doing well on fire. They have a massive, massive points lead on Nomads, and they have inherent scoring. Yeah, they're probably beating Nomads. I don't know if they're beating Alchemists. If I still don't know if Alchemists are connecting, right? That's like one of the really tough parts about evaluating anything here. We don't know if Alchemists are connecting, and if they do, I like them over Dwarves, I think. And if they don't, then clearly it's Dwarves above Alchemists. In fact, if Alchemists don't connect, I have a hard time seeing them in front of Nomads too. They've committed so much to connection at this point. Oh man, Nomads. Wow, okay. Nomads did not bother securing E3 here. I do think that means that Alchemists have connected, in which case I have them. I think I might have Alchemists above Dwarves then. Yeah, Heroic Logic. I think I might agree with that. If Nomads, especially if Nomads don't secure E3, like Alchemists are going to connect trivially if they get E3, and Nomads now no longer have a way to advance their shipping unless they pay for this, which I still think they should. I think that would like Nomads should buy this priest. Um, they just really really want to. Okay, they do buy the priest. I do like that. So if Team Kill E3 is back on the table, then I still like Dwarves over Alchemists, I think. By the way, how fun is this? Dwarves went for the Stronghold instead of the Sanctuary. This might be the Stronghold and the Sanctuary, but this Stronghold after so many tunnels. Yeah, I mean, say they get C3. It's not impossible for them to get C3, right? Though, I mean, again, I think that Witches are very interested in C3 personally. Witches have had it, by the way, exactly the round that I was thinking that they would. If they get to pass here, that's just a huge coup, and I think that they are getting to pass here, right? Like, what are Nomads doing here? Nomads aren't doing jack. Dwarves are advancing their digging. Well, I mean, we did say that dwarves would need to advance their digging if they wanted to carve out a town at this point because they lost I2. So that's understandable. They might just be going for a dig bombing game, but I'm very sad about this dwarves opening. Because as we were saying, we really liked the idea of dwarves sending the first priest to air and getting to step 4 on air in round 1. And then jamming just sending all their attention on the air cult, maybe the earth cult. Instead, they sent first priest to fire, which will get them some points, but no workers. And I don't know. I think dwarves can eke together a fair number of points and possibly beat alchemists. Like, look at alchemists; they have nothing. They have so few points. Admittedly, they still have 12 points coming from digging, 4 points coming from here. So they have 16 points of internal stuff. They have water ones. They have all this, and the final round dwellings should be pretty good. I don't know. It's interesting. I definitely think that if connecting, alchemists have a very, very good chance at beating dwarves. This is just disgusting for witches. I love it so much. Yeah, witches don't have coin production, so that makes me think that the right play for them is probably just a double hard dig, as crazy as that might sound. They also do need to get some hexes in order to secure their network. So actually, I'm no longer sure about the easy connection path for witches. Are they getting neighbors here is the question, right? Are dwarves going to take C3 and tunnel to C1? I would think that with the stronghold, that might be possible, but they still have 2 tunnels over here as well. Has there been a back-to-back MSO TM champion before? I don't think so. Admittedly, I've only been following MSO TM for like 3 years. So I don't know, but it does look like George Shortwell has a very, very good chance at repeating here. I would make him the very clear favorite right now. They've only been doing it online for 3 years. I think you might be right, Patrick. I think that there might have been one in 2020, but I wasn't playing TM at that time, so I don't know enough to say. So this is interesting. Nomads did not advance their ship with their priest. They have held it in hand. They apparently were just stalling to get onto this. Nomads have one thing left on their board. Maybe they just hold on to the priest. So if witches do want to get down to 2 things on their board, then they need to build 4 more structures. Let's see where those structures could go. They need 2 of those structures in their town. So let's say they go on B1 and C3, right? Then they need 2 more structures. Now, there's a natural green down here, but that would cost 3 shipping, 2 extra shipping. But they would still need 1 more dig. So I think that maybe the best thing for witches is they do advance their digging, and then they go for this, all up here, and then maybe they dig down 1 more structure over here. Maybe they can even go for a 6 dwellings town over here. It's very expensive digging, but if they manage to get advanced digging and they have infinite workers, then the theory is that they can just dig out this entire island here. They dig out this entire island. They make 0 expensive TPs, and then they connect on 1 shipping. With Fire 2, 6 dwellings, just make your TPs all in cheap spots, and you have this hilarious looking green like blob of dwellings for your last town. I6 is 2 ship. I6 isn't 2 ship. It's because of F6. You're right. Okay, so maybe it's like a compromised 2 ship. Yeah, that's a little less cool than my like great fan fiction theory though, isn't it? My fan fiction of digging out the entire continent here other than B2 and then getting a town with Fire 2. Don't you like that fan fiction theory? Which has got the coins as we thought. Nomads. I think that nomads are supposed to be advancing ship here. Yeah, they are on the ship VP tile, so it makes no sense if they don't advance their ship. They placed a dwelling, or they placed a priest over here on the air track. I don't think that did them a ton of good, but it will give them coins, which they are in dire need of right now. Dwarves are going to lock up their town space, though, so they are going to get 2 towns. Nomads might be worried about C7. This is one of the results of their sandstorms going into awful spots. Because now dwarves have a lot of incentive to take C7, right? This is a town for them. And it also cuts nomads off of lots of natural yellows that, I guess, so let's see. Nomads have a natural yellow here. They have a natural yellow here that probably disappears. If C7 disappears on them, then they're going to lose 2 natural yellows. Wow, this is... I absolutely would not have made this move first. They are looking for a ship town. I think that's what this is. They're looking for a ship or coin town. Though I kind of suspect that George Shortwell might just take the other coin town right now. He doesn't need a ship town, but a coin town could be pretty good. Well, you think that getting to 2 ship is more sensible than my epic digging fantasy? Sad times. What a sad time. You're probably right as well. Because obviously, like, ship advance the second time is just 3 points as well, which is obviously quite good. Wonder what's going through George Orwell's mind right now. He might be trying to figure out what town he wants. Like, it is a pain if nomads for some reason go for like 8 pointers instead of the ship town, which they need. George's also behind the ship VP tile going to the final round. Yeah, so I was just saying, like, what are we thinking is going through his mind? I imagine that if it's me, then one of the thoughts going through my mind right now is, um, how am I stalling out this round? Like, how fast do I want my round to be? I think that the actions that he wants to take are fairly clear. He wants temple for, uh, he wants to temple for fire 2. He wants to take a town. He wants to fly, and he wants to like figure out how to secure his hexes for his northwestern town. But beyond that, it's not obvious like how he wants this. By the way, dwarves are fully advanced on digging with the stronghold. This has me very, very excited. I think dwarves should be taking. They could take the cult town, but I would love for them to be taking workers towns here. It would just be so fun to see dig bombing dwarves. It is kind of sad that they've got all their dwellings on the board and no TPs. They don't have water 1, and then this round they want to be building dwellings, so they do need to get a way to get their TPs onto the boards. So that's unfortunate. Oh, there's one of them. I have to think that fire 2 for nomads should be coming here. Hephaestus built a TP, so he is now free to secure E3, and I think that that's likely what's happening here. So this is going to be fire 2 for nomads. For a coin town. Actually, the 8-pointer is pretty good here for nomads, I have to say. Coin town is more points, but the 8-pointer is not bad. But I think that we're about to see double dig on E3 from alchemists. I don't know, Rainier might have been right that that dwarves are just ahead of alchemists, because I don't know, alchemists have a lot going for them. They still have a lot going for them. They're going to tie network at this point. I think that it's safe to say that alchemists can tie witches on network if they so choose. They still have blacks to build on and stuff. Here's fire 2 for witches. I think that they sensed a little bit of pressure, though. I mean, dwarves clearly are not going for fire 2 based on that. You think 3 ship and 6 power. I assume that you're talking about witches passing on to the nomad's ship tile. I'm not entirely clear what you meant by that, but actually, sorry, yeah, I don't think dwarves have that much going for them, especially if like alchemists should get one more town, right? Alchemists greedily advance on the exchange track. I think that that's fine because we don't know that when nomads are going to get onto E3. They're just so slow about shipping. Hephaestus also didn't down convert, which means that he's clearly got his eye on using this double spade power action, which is likely to go on E3, I would think. Um, Hukim sent a priest. Did Hukim send a priest to a cult this round? I don't think he did, but like he's got 0 shipping. He's on the ship tile. He could have just taken a ship town. I really think that that could have been a ship town. 3 ships, 6 power for alchemists. All right. Witches are thrilled right now, but witches are also a little scared because if they turn this guy to green to try to use their witch's flight, they're in trouble. So I think that they just hard dig. I think that witches should probably just hard dig B1 here and build, to be clear. I think that they should just hard dig build this guy, make this TP, and then once dwarves run themselves out of stuff, then dwarves probably tunnel here. Also, guys, I don't know if digging witches is happening. And the fact that I don't know if digging witches is happening means that I'm afraid that the one ship witch's dream might be dead. It might be dead. I am having a moment of silence right now. God, yeah, nomads just really don't care that alchemists are connecting. They're just gonna. Admittedly, they are going to build out their own network too. Um, so good on Hephaestus for making this happen. He paid a lot to make it happen, but like he didn't get blocked at the steps where we thought that he might. So he has squeezed this out. And I do think it's likely to lead to a second place. By the way, Witches took a ship town. Definitely indicates that he's thinking of that. It definitely points to a 3-ship game. He could still dig A2. I don't think that digging A2 is bad because he just needs 2 TPs to make this town. Dig this, and then you reduce your shipping needs by 1. And then you can take I6 as well. So then that's 2 hexes. He would still need 1 more hex, I think. So that would be 1, 2, 3 more digs, I think. Nomads still have yet to advance their shipping, so alchemists can just advance their digs again, which is what I fully expect them to do before they take E3. Oh, wait. Yeah, they're at 3 ships, so I think it's advance. Yeah, you can advance on the exchange track here. No one's taking E3 from you. I really don't think dwarves can. Dwarves taking E3 would be so hilariously unexpected. Bulky, you agree with dwarves having C3, C1, and you taking, and witches taking A2? That's cool. Yeah, I agree with that. Dwarves collect some workers. Seems good. These workers obviously represent a lot of points for dwarves. Stronghold nomads may now need to secure C8 from dwarves because dwarves are a digging threat. Yeah, Stronghold nomads still need a little bit of help to clear everything off. Yeah, I'm sad about this nomads game. All right, so alchemists are going to spend 3 workers here. Then they'll probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They need 9 workers to finish out their game. They also need some digs. They have a free hex here. They probably want to dig this hex, and they have a free hex here. So I think that the last 3 hexes for alchemists this game are G3, E3, I7. Oh, that's after this dig. Fine. So it's A6, G3, I7, right? Those are the final 3 hexes after they secure E3 right now. And God, what? This is upsetting, right? I hope I'm not the only one who's kind of upset by this. This temple for water 1. Like, didn't you build a TP this round? I'm pretty sure he already built a TP this round. And now it's temple for water 1. I just think these dreams might be too big. And you're also passing for 0 because you took water 1. So, like, do nomads think that they actually have the stuff to get down to nothing on their board? This would be 9 coins and 17 coins. I mean, if they pass and get a coins action, or if they pass and get on this, then I count 1, 2, 3, 4 hexes. I mean, it could happen, but they need a sanctuary. Like, why a temple? This could have been I don't know. Would I E3 as dwarves here? That's a really good question. I don't know if I would E3 as dwarves here. Would I E3 as dwarves here? What is the alternative? They can't build any more stuff this round. Are you getting the second town? And do you even want this second town? You have so many tunnels available to you currently. I think I probably would E3 as dwarves here. Honestly, I think that I would dig E3. Alchemist played so greedy, and also, admittedly, part of my thinking right now is if I'm dwarves, I think that I'm just second place, or I think that I'm competing for second place with alchemists. So if I take away E3, I don't gain myself any points, but I take away 12 points from alchemists. Give, maybe 9 points from alchemists, like more or less. They may go from like 15 network to 6 network, or 6 points, right? 12 network to 6 network. Now, if they're going from 12 network to 6 network, then I've probably made a mistake. But if it's 9 points, that could definitely be the difference maker. It's hard to say. I'm dumb, so I probably would just not do it. It's a little boring and plain, but I think I probably wouldn't do it. Yeah. And it looks like the dwarves player agrees. This move does stall a little bit, so there is a chance that dwarves can get onto a pass tile. But looking at it, I don't think that seems super likely. They could like slow dig D6, right? They could dig bomb A2 to make this guy brown or something. They can tunnel to C1, but they're out of stuff. Dwarves could take A3 to connect. Oh man, you're not wrong. I think dwarves might actually be considering trying to take A3 to connect. But yeah, they need to actually cut off alchemists in order for that to happen. In that case, so let's count the workers, right? This is a 4-worker block, right? This would be 4 workers. Then they need to make a TP because they would be out of dwellings. Then they need 4 workers here. So this is 4 plus 2 is 6 plus 4 is 10. They get 2 workers back from the town. And then they need this, which is 5. So they need 15 workers. They get 1 back for the town. They actually have exactly like that much stuff, right? They have 12 here. Plus 1 is 13. Plus 2 is 15. So they could have actually made that exact line happen. And when you put it that way, I think that that's actually correct. No, so Lustrous, you are correct. Dwarves connecting puts them in last in network. However, we were talking about what if dwarves blocked E3. If dwarves block E3, then TP here, dig down H2 for their town, and then they triple dig A3 and they connect, then that's a 12-point swing. Like, that's like an 18-point swing versus alchemists, probably, right? Alchemists probably lose 12 points. Dwarves gain like 6 points. That's an 18-point swing versus the person that I suspect is Dwarves' biggest rival. I suspect Dwarves' biggest rival is alchemists, and that they're competing for second. I think that nomads are pretty far behind, but I could be wrong. I also think that nomads probably just pass here. They might make a TP, I guess. They did build water 1 for no reason, so it would make sense for them to take a TP. Heroic Logic, you were so anxious about Alchemist losing E3, you wouldn't have had Hephaestus' patience. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that dwarves were considering that hard, but yeah, I mean, this looks quite good for Hephaestus. He still has pretty unremarkable cult position, but if he temples for, like, I don't think it's outrageous for Alchemist to temple for Earth 3. And if he does that, he's in the running with witches for cult points. Witches are witches are passing on to nomads tile, aren't they? Yeah, witches are probably crushing this game. But admittedly, they don't have quite as many points as you might think. So they might be concealing some of their points right now. But they are passing for wait, they only have 2 TPs on the board? They're gonna build another TP. 6. They're passing for 9. They're making a TP, so they're gonna be at 93 points when they pass this round. That seems good. What did dwarves do? They built another TP. I really don't like building a TP for dwarves here. Really don't like it. Lightwatch, yeah. Alchemist nicely greeted the connection. Yeah, I just don't think that. I ultimately think that maybe blocking E3 was correct for dwarves. I think that it might have just been too hard for alchemists to come up with the points to beat them if they did that. But I have to admit that I likely wouldn't have done it myself either. Because, like, you're not guaranteed to connect on A3. And in that case, you've blown a lot of resources to do something that might not benefit you, like, directly. You might have blown a lot of resources on something that only hurts your opponent and doesn't help yourself. But yeah, I don't like this TP actually from dwarves. I think that they were better off keeping their worker income going. I think that their next play is likely to do a tunnel dig. And I'm trying to figure out if it makes sense for witches to build their last TP here. The answer is probably no, right? The answer is probably no. You're probably supposed to save your TP for over here, whether or not it's expensive. Dwarves pass on to coins, which is another reason that I don't think that they needed to make that final TP. If you're passing on to coins anyway, then, right, like, I'm not crazy here, right? Like, if you're passing on to coins anyway, then the result of that pass, the result of the TP didn't really help you. You would rather have the extra worker than the extra coin, 2 coins and a power. That's my viewpoint. Bulky, you think that dwarves could have taken the spade? That's only 1 worker, right? 1 worker versus 3 coins. I mean, they've clearly made, like, the value judgment that coins are more important than workers right now. Like, 3 coins is more important than 1 worker. But I agree with you. I don't think that that's actually true. I think that they have very few coin needs, and, like, they have this stronghold and, like, this advanced digging. The stronghold plus the advanced digging, I mean, that clearly means that Like 2 workers is 4 points for you. Um, what's 3 coins? 3 coins is nothing. Well, okay, do they need more coins? No, they don't need more coins. They made this value judgment, but I disagree with it. So I agree with you. Um, like the last thing that you might want advanced or coins for, ironically, is advancing your digging. But guess what? Um, they've already taken care of that. So yeah, like they don't need that. Um, Nomads are trying to bootstrap some coin economy. Nomads have made 0 TPs this round. If they were going for a temple, they probably should have gone for air one. I suppose it is a temple round, so this isn't like, in that sense, this isn't like the end of the world that they made this, but they still have 0 shipping. Um, at this rate, I do think that George needs to watch out a little bit. I mean, I don't think that there's much that he's going to do to fight this, but I think that there's a very realistic chance that um, they overproduced priests by building a temple. Yeah, I agree with that. But like, I think it's worse that the temple um, was water one. If it were air one, like maybe it's a little better, right? Because they're getting 2 points this round for it. But unless they build this TP, then it's just a waste. And burning yourself down to build this TP, I have questions about that as well when they're competing for coins action currently. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think that was supposed to be air one. Um, but I mean, regardless, they're taking a stand. Like, here's the benefit of air one, right? First of all, it gets you here. Secondly, you can air 3 to close this. Next round, he might sanctuary earth 3, temple air 3 or something, right? That might not be so awful, but like, how good is this town and this sanctuary versus just trying to build TPs and dwellings? It's all not clear. Um, and yeah, it's just really messy for nomads. Um, I don't fancy their position. I don't fancy like this number of points. I don't fancy passing for 0 here. Like, come on, man. Like, this is letting alchemists connect for cheap, um, and not advancing your ship when you're on the ship tile. Okay, alchemists decided to close this call. Fair enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They need 12 workers to build everything. They also will need 1, 2, 3, 4 digs to do it. No, they don't need 4 digs. They need 1. They're getting 4 stuff here and then this. So they only need 2 digs to build everything. So that's 8 plus 4, that's 14 workers that they would need to build everything. They have 3 coming off of here, and they can take a workers power action and or a workers town. So alchemists are going to get down to 1 structure. That's very, very cool and impressive. Very, very cool and impressive. I think the last temple should have been sanctuary for nomads, and then air one is even better. Yeah, I mean, that's, I think we all agree that nomads, they're in some trouble here. I mean, so my case for nomads is they could have templed for air one, and that wouldn't have been that awful. Because air one would be exactly as many points as water one, and then next round, but then next round they sanctuary for air 3, right? That seems pretty good. Um, but nomads want to build all their stuff. They're trying to go TP, dwelling. They would need all of their workers for that, so they can't do any hard digs. Oh, but they're going to get onto the sanctuary tile, so that's good. Yeah, okay. So witches are finally showing that they're just miles ahead of the pack in terms of points. I feel like this wasn't as obvious, but now it is. And also, witches did not, interestingly, witches did put their TP up top. I think that we could see witches go for a double spade here. I wouldn't be shocked to see them spade this to green, build here, turn this to blue. and then try to hard dig down this guy. I think that that's what we're going to see. Um, Actually, stick with me, guys. What if, what if witches triple dig this? Oh wait, no, never mind. Double digging A2 is good because it's also two ship connection. Never mind. I thought that I found something really fun. Um, but yeah, I suspect that this is the double dig power action. Witches have so many coins. Oh, they have the spade as well. Huh. So it's probably just take the spade onto here, right? Witches haven't obviously had for some time. Seeing it takes experience. I mean, yeah, I felt like they were obviously ahead, but then like I got deceived by like the point totals, right? And admittedly, like nomads and alchemists have like 8 points worth on this stuff, but yeah, I mean, it felt like they were well ahead, and then like I just got so busy talking about other stuff that I forgot that they were killing it. Classic big econ witches, yeah. Um, Points lag, yeah, totally agreed. Um, I mean, that said, they're probably not going to win network outright. I see. They're going to tie Alchemist for first on network. Can Nomads reach that threshold as well? Probably not if they make this town. They fought really hard for this town space, but admittedly it was just one sandstorm, I guess. But like this lack of E3 continues to make me sad. I probably need to just get over it, but I'm still not. I hope dwarves aren't thinking about connecting. It doesn't seem good for them. Alchemist took a coins action, which I think is fine. I think I said that they needed like 14-ish workers, and there's two priest towns and a 7-point town out there for them to get those coins. So they should be fine to get the stuff that they need for this town. Um, and I think they have to go for the stronghold, right? Like, or this sanctuary. They got. Maybe they don't have to. Technically, we'll see. But I think that we're going to see Temple for Air 2 from Witches this round. They can pretty safely close out their cult now. So I think that if they do go for if Nomads do go for the Sanctuary, it'll probably be for Air 1 and not Air 3. Dwarves, if I'm dwarves, I'm buying workers here. Well, maybe you don't need to, right? You can just secure D6 first. Secure D6 and then build a bridge. And then, yeah. They do secure D6 as we thought. No one here should want a bridge, so that's cool for dwarves. Yeah, so they are going to get 4 points worth of Earth 1, maybe 6 points worth of Earth 1, plus 6 points worth of this. So that could be like 12 points plus 2 towns. Let's call the 2 towns worth like 20-ish points. So that'd be like 32 more points. Dwarves would be in like the mid 120s. Couple of resource points left over. 130-ish. Dwarves are going to be around 140 this game, I think. Maybe they tunnel a few times. They get to like 150. Witches are hilariously, obviously beating that. Alchemists, they're going to make 12 points off of here and then 8 points, 16 points here. So they've got like 30 points ish coming in. Make that like 27 ish points coming in. So they're going to be in like the 150, like in the mid 110s. This means that they'll be in like the mid 120s. And then they have a town, let's say it's like a 10 point ish town, 130s. And then they have a cult win. So that's like 140 ish. And then they're going to be in like the mid 150s. So alchemists are ahead of dwarves. Because they connected, alchemists should be like just ahead of dwarves here. Nomads are pretty clearly fourth, I think. Even if they manage to like lock these up, 24 points. I don't think that they're going to get to 15 network, but I mean, if they do, like, yeah, it doesn't look great for nomads. They need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 workers. So they technically do have that. If they don't have a coin town available to them anymore, so that's a bummer. They also still need a ship advance. So they're quite short on coins in that sense. Because this would be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, plus the ship advance is 22. They're nowhere near that here. If the coin town was still available, then they would be close. But yeah. Every time I do points, I add 2 to 3 victory points extra. Yeah, I might. Because I'm just counting like approximate ranges, right? Because I don't know that these are like the exact lines that my opponents or that like these players are taking. So I can't say for sure like exactly what it'll look like. I'm just like throwing out guesses there. How do we like our odds of nomads? How do we like nomads' chances if they don't build this town? That's probably bad, right? Nomads, the sanctuary is 4 points plus 4 points, so that's 8. And the town is probably 8. So that's like a 16-point structure that they would be giving up. But if they don't build their sanctuary, say that they're able to build 2 more dwellings for 8 points. And then that's also worth 6 points in network. It's very close. And there's also a swing involved, so who knows? Big econ witches for the win, yeah. No question. This is definitely big econ witches winning. I would probably just build a TP here. I'd probably just build the F5 TP if I'm witches, but George Shorwell is allowed to do whatever he wants in whatever order he wants. He's earned that right. He goes for the expensive TP, which is fine. It's not how I would have done it, but this does give him access to exactly the town that he wants. I would assume that it's probably just an 11-point town, maybe the priest town. Priest to water seems okay because the Hephaestus is going to be using priests as workers. Dwarves don't have any priests in hand, so if you take away a priest town from them, they shouldn't chase you down. So the priest to water can be pretty good. And then you just take A2. I mean, ultimately I don't really like this TP that much. I have to say I don't like this TP that much. I probably would have just dug A2 to take my town. And then I would have made a TP here and then flown here. Like, even if you want a town, I think that you're supposed to just dig A2 here. Because then you can connect on, right, that's the 2-ship connection plan. It is a power town, which is, I mean, again, this is not how I would have drawn it up, but it's completely fine. Like he's crushing the game, so like this is completely fine. Um, yeah, I would have drawn it up a little differently. I would have dug A2. Um, and then you only need 2 shipping, so you can take like a priest town or 11 pointer. But it's probably very, very close in terms of value because the extra ship advance is worth 4 points, which closes the gap significantly between um, the town values. If I'm nomads, I'm probably making a TP here instead of building my sanctuary. Just like wait and see how things shake out. Let's say they don't build a sanctuary. Do they get out everything? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 coins. Or sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 coins. They can get 12 coins. And they only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 workers, which, well, they probably need a hard dig as well. Yeah, they do need a hard dig. So they need 10 work. I mean, they approximately have the stuff that they need to get to 16 network. Again, it's just not clear if that's better than this sanctuary town. And it's also just not clear if it's important because they're probably in 4th by miles anyway. Yeah. They just decide to go for, like, the power town is so bad. I assume that this is just an 8 pointer. Air 1 plus 8 pointer here. It's fire 3. I mean, I guess that's fine. It's not great. It's fine. Yeah, this is like it's fine. I guess this does let them the cool thing about Fire 3 is that it does let them take this 4 coin town if they want a little more happily. At this rate, their best line is probably to build a TP and then build 2 dwellings. So they need 7 coins. They have 7 coins, in which case I would just go for the 8 pointer. Like they're never getting down TP, TP, dwelling, dwelling, dwelling anymore. So they should probably just go for TP, dwelling, dwelling, since it's a dwellings round. In which case, just go for one of these high VP towns is my guess right now. In fact, the 11 pointer is probably just the best, assuming that alchemists aren't going to try to chase you down on water. You can put one of your priests on the water track anyway. So they do go for the power town, which, like I said, I don't think that they actually need. Like they have no chance. They have no real chance of going TP, TP, dwelling, dwelling, dwelling. That's 12. That's 10. That's 12 coins. They have 10, and they don't have the spade that they need to build the last dwelling. Right? There's no free yellows other than this, so they can build this and this. But the sandstorm can't sandstorm B6. So double round 6 power towns, big brain or big cube. I mean, honestly, what this means is like we just need to rethink the Terra Mystica drinking game because, or I mean, this is just a big chance for anyone who's a fan of the Terra Mystica drinking game to get their shots in because Power Town is definitely a high value drinking game type. At this point, you're wondering if they took the Power Town to troll me. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that this is good. Um, if it allowed them to get to max out their network, I would think that it was awesome, but it doesn't. So, what's it actually doing? In my opinion, not that much. Like part of the value in building this sanctuary is that you can take a super high VP town as well. But this is not that. It's also not Air 1, so that also diminishes some of the value to me. So, but it doesn't matter. I mean, we're like, you're allowed to have bad games in Terra Mystica. Um, it happens to everyone. Yeah, I've disagreed with a lot of people's plays here. Um, Witches take away a hex from dwarves, which I don't know, honestly, if they were planning to build on. I think that F9 plus like H2 might be enough stuff for dwarves to try to handle. Um, but I mean, good for George Shortwell. So he'll fly here for 8, for 2 rather. So that's 119. Advanced ship twice for 7. So that's 126. Pass for 4, 130. Um, 15 on network, 145. And then this is 10, 155. Plus like, I don't know if this is points. So like 155. Am I crazy or is that like a lot fewer points than I was thinking? I think that I was thinking that he would be getting. I don't know. It seems like fewer points than I was expecting. Maybe I'm doing my math wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 126, 130. Maybe a resource point for 131. 146. 156. Yeah. No, I included the passing points from Air 1, right? He's getting 7 points from advancing his ship and 4 points from this. So that is, yeah, that's 11 more points. So 130. Plus network is 145, maybe a resource point 146, and then 10, maybe 12 on the cults. Like that would be 158. I'm like almost convinced that this power town is the reason why why witches are not as high as I think that they were supposed to be. But it's also possible that alchemists like getting tying witches in network is the reason why. Um, anyway, yeah, alchemists have 18 more points coming in off of building stuff. Um, so that's 119. Pass 127. Network 142. Because that's 15 points. And then these cults here, this looks like around 10 points on the cults as well. So like 150s. Well, alchemists are really close to witches. I I think alchemists are really close to witches. Like they're within like 10 points. They're like within maybe 7 points of witches. That's that's wild. Which is not to say that witches still aren't crushing this game, but it's by like a little less than I had thought at least. Alchemists can hilariously kill dwarves town if dwarves aren't careful here. They don't have a dwelling on their board right now. I suppose they're building a TP, so when they're gonna go TP, alchemists will build here, then dwarves will dig this hex, I assume. Um, But it would be hilarious if Alchemist killed Dwarves Town. I don't think they need to. Yeah, I'm going to assume that Dwarves get... can they make 2 TPs, build this, and tunnel? I'm not convinced. They seem a little worker short, which is hilariously predictable. They also delayed their towns so long that they missed out on both worker towns. I guess one of them was here, but like I think that they could have beaten Alchemist to this world. Yeah, it's unusual because all the high VP towns are still there. I totally agree. This looks like, to me, that seems like someone messed up, but anyway, they should get both 18-point towns. Like, they should get both priest towns at this point, I would think. Priest town number 1 brings them to 6 workers. TP here. That's 4 workers. Dig this, 0 workers. Then they get another priest town, but they need 2 workers to build this, so it's a little painful. This final round is really going a long time. I feel like I figured out. I feel like I figured out all your best lines, guys. You should have just listened to my stream because I already told you what you needed to actually do. We can look at Nomad's endgame points. It looks like they've got 22 on the cults fairly safely. So 22 points on the cults for Nomads, along with 6 endgame points. So that's 28 in the endgame, plus 8 passing, so that's 36 points. It looks like they've got enough to go dwelling TP. So, wow, Lox, thank you for the prime subscription. I really appreciate it. This is yeah, that's cool. So I think I said 36 more points are coming in for Nomads, like as they pass, plus in the ending. I think that they can probably get out TP and dwelling here, so that's 7 points as well. So that'd be 43 points for Nomads. Yeah, 43-ish points left for Nomads, so they're going to get to like around 120, which is a bummer, but such is life. Dwarves, hey, Dwarves got some Leech. This Leech really helps Dwarves, because this means that they can tunnel to F9 if Alchemists don't bomb this Hex. Nomads had 2 spots left to Sandstorm because they never advanced shipping. They had either A9 or I5, and they just Sandstormed I5. It's kind of a fun fact. I guess if Nomads get 1 more Leech, then they can make advance their digs instead of making a final TP. That would be kind of fun. But yeah, I mean, like, this is like, what are these resources doing for you, Nomads? You took a power town. You took the power town, and now you're left over with a bunch of stuff. I feel like, personally, just taking 11 points, or even the priest town if you want to defend your cult position, was better. But yeah, they're just going to make a TP here, and that's fine. But I think it was just more efficient to... yeah, it was just more points efficient to go for the big points town. Oh well. Live and learn. Dwarves are going to take H2 now. They really, really, really should take H2 now. And get themselves... Why did they take the 8-pointer? I guess this was a good reason to take the 8-pointer. Fair enough. They take a priest, which... It's like... I really don't see any reason to risk Alchemist killing your town. If I'm playing Alchemist, I feel like this is just disrespectful, and maybe I just kill this town like because I feel disrespected. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, just lock up your town. You can get a priest from your town. You don't need this priest from here. And you also want 3 workers. Like, you don't want to send priests to cults anyway. You want to tunnel to F9. That's an 8-point tunnel. Setting these priests off is not going to be better than an 8-point tunnel. My patented disrespecting. I totally would have just dug the hell out of H2. Like, I'm already locked into second. Why am I not just killing dwarves here? But if I just played nice, so dwarves are going to get away with it. Dwarves will, once they dig this, they'll have 2 workers left. They build a TP, they'll have 1 worker left, and even with this, okay, so dwarves, maybe dwarves were never tunneling anyway, but nonetheless, I just don't see why this priest was so urgent that you had to risk your town getting just absolutely annihilated. Fatty, just digging doesn't change anything, dude. I would build that hex. I would just build this hex if I'm alchemist. I like alchemist just built A6 instead. They could have just dug H2 at like almost no cost to themselves. It would have only cost them like 1 victory point or something to kill Dwarves Town. Now, admittedly, dwarves are far behind alchemists, so it doesn't really matter. But I just don't like that type of taking that type of risk as dwarves. By the way, everyone who was on team, I don't understand what dwarves building that last TP did for them, is being vindicated right now because dwarves are like 1 worker short and they have many more coins than they need. Either taking the spade or just not building that TP would have been enough right now. So rejoice all haters. It's a great day for hating. Nomads will send their last priest to water. I think that's got to be the correct move. Dwarves have nothing left to do other than to send priests to water as well. So yeah, I think Nomad sending the priest is definitely good. Dwarves thought about it for a really long time before they decided to lock up their town. Maybe they wanted to send a priest to water beforehand, just to see what would happen. You know, just to tempt fate a little bit longer. Phaistos just needs to figure out what conversions he wants. Like how much power does he want to turn into coins? How many priests does he want to send to the cults if he wants to turn power into workers instead? But that stuff is probably not that important. If I'm Hephaestus, I probably just send 1 priest to water here, and convert the rest of my stuff into coins. Yeah, I think that the correct conversion is 2 priests to workers, 3 power to coins, with the priest off to the water track. Yeah, I have 154. For Hephaestus. I guess he probably loses a point on this track. Yeah, it's actually pretty close. Yeah, it's actually pretty close for Hephaestus because he was allowed to do this insane connection. Which again, I don't think he was supposed to be able to do. I think that nomads were supposed to take away this hex like way earlier. That would be a swing of 12 points versus Alchemist, which alone makes it worth it. He was also like on that ship tile, so I mean I've ragged on his game a lot, but I'm just kind of sad about it still. I really do think that there was good potential out there that just wasn't quite fulfilled. So yeah, it does look like 118 for nomads. Dwarves will have 2 resource points plus 9 cult points. So that's 119 plus, oh, this might be 11 cult points, so 130. Witches are at 145 plus 8, 150. Hold on, 145, 153, 155. Dwarves should send this priest off. So 155. Assuming they don't get the leech. Alchemists, assuming that they convert two priests to workers and three power to coins, are getting 7 more points. They're gonna be at 127, 142. After network, 150, 154. Okay, they're only losing by 1 point. Do I think that Alchemists tie network and get 2 towns if they strain their TP, their temple? That's a good question. They would have needed to build every structure, right? So they would need 1, 2, 3, 4 more workers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more workers. I think that the answer is no. And the main reason I say that is, well, okay, it depends on if Alchemists get over here anyway. If Alchemists get all the way over here anyway, and they get to hit all these, like this natural black and this natural black anyway, then I think the answer is yes, right? I think that they town here, and they probably town over here for their second town. And because they would have gotten a lot more workers going early. They would have dug less early, but they could have dug late. Like, no one was stopping them from digging late. Assuming that they still manage to get the workers town when they need them. Like, I actually don't see any reason why they shouldn't be able to get this town over here and build 1 more structure. Because remember in round 2, they took a coins action in round 2. Plus like a workers, instead of taking priests and workers and advancing ship and getting all the way around here, they took a double dig and they only got 2 worker production going that round. They would have had 2 extra workers to work with as early as round 2. Like starting in round 3, they would have had 2 extra worker income. So like it's kind of hard to say that they wouldn't have been able to have the chance to get out this last structure. They could have also taken Air 1. Air 1 would have been nice points against like Air 1 would have been very nice points, right? Like if they manage a temple for Air 1, that's like a 5-point structure. That would be enough to beat witches. They would have gotten more points from passing. They would have gotten more points off of the ship passing tile. So yeah, Hephaestus counts 1 point, and that's what I count as well. It might cost more coin conversions, yes. You think that the line Hephaestus took might have been the better one. I mean, it's hard to say that Hephaestus took the wrong line, given that he got E3. I don't think he was supposed to get E3. So, like, can you judge that based on like the fact that it turned out so well? I am not convinced that you actually can like say that. Because whoa, yeah, so 154, yeah. Dwarves, I don't know what they did with their last priest. Send a priest to water. Oh, they tunneled. They dig bomb tunneled. Okay, fine, fair enough. You were with me that you thought that Alchemist should have built more in round 2, but 1 point is very close. I mean, again, we all thought that Alchemist got the best deal in the auction, and I think that the best deal involves building all this stuff out here. Like, again, like it's possible that they managed to do this and it still wasn't their best line, even though they performed really well. You think that Hephaestus got lucky to be this close? I think he got lucky too. Now, admittedly, like if you knew that this was going to happen, like then maybe, but like you couldn't know that this was going to happen. And sure, it had a high ceiling, but even this high ceiling still got like crushed a little bit. And he would have made more points on the pass along the way. Because remember, he was on that shit. Like it's so important to remember that Hephaestus was on a tile that would have given him 9 points, and instead he took 3 points on it. He also chose to build one fewer dwelling that round. So I mean, again, he still wound up doing very well. Like I can't argue with that. It's just I can't help but think that there was more to this as well. Wow, this is a long game. Yes, this was. I mean, I don't mean to take away from Hephaestus or George Shortwell here. I think these are both like really cool games. It's really cool to see greed pay off, right? Like this was greed for Alchemist for sure. Witches played a very interesting game, choosing Temp Ship instead of the Spade. And honestly, it just killed Nomads. Like this has happened to me before, where like basically someone gives me something that I wasn't expecting, and then I change my game plan because I'm like, oh, well, that seems too good to pass up. I need to take advantage of that. But that was the wrong thinking. Like the Stronghold was a better line for Nomads. So Nomads should have just stuck with taking the Stronghold line. Not worried about cutting off Alchemists and just done their own thing. They could have gotten this round 3 town. They could have built the big building in the correct round. They could have still gotten these 3 towns, and they could have tied network. So, like again, I'm not trying to rag on Nomads. I'm just trying to see like where this stuff like happened, and like I also like personally feel like a connection here because that type of nasty situation has happened to me like before. Yeah. You see the Spade take the Spade round 1, and like that's so easy to do, but like you already had a game plan. Like just stick with your game plan. And I mean, that's what George Shortwell did, right? Like he saw that he could secure the double dig by taking Temp Ship, and he said, I don't actually need this heir to Spade. Like the right thing to do is to do the typical Fjords thing, which is build a stronghold, get lots of hexes, and then take towns. And then he went off, won the air cult, and built his towns, and that was enough. Again, like this doesn't take anything away from Hephaestus, who played like really cool game in order to make this happen. Even though it was a game that enraged me, he and Lustrous, to your point that Hephaestus might have had to convert more. Would he have had to convert a lot more than 44? Maybe he would have. So yeah, this was a no Earth 1 game, of course. Pretty cool. Of course, Alchemist hit the scoring track really well. And they did pass the most. Ooh, this is Dwarves, buddy. I think we gotta have a talk. We gotta have a talk about what to do when there are 2 scoring pass tiles that you can use in the game. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's too much else to discern from here. I think it was a cool game. Hopefully everyone enjoyed. It was a long one, and it's a little unfortunate that like we kind of knew like how things were going to shake out for our poor friends, the Nomads here. But I appreciate everyone chatting, everyone watching. Congratulations again, George Shortwell. It was really good. So, yeah, Philippe Bart, thank you for the comment. And hopefully I'll see you all again in a game that I'm playing in. So, thanks everyone.